Mr. Miller.
Hey, good morning.
Morning, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing just fine. You ready to hear what I got to say?
Yep, I've been looking forward to our meeting. I'm sorry my wife couldn't make it today. She's actually under the weather.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope she gets better.
Yeah, of course. Thanks.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. So, I guess I'll just give you a quick overview of what we're going to be covering in today's meeting. It's going to comprise of the pension analysis for Karen.
Okay.
And y'all's retirement benefits, which is your Social Security and your Medicare.
Right.
So before I kind of just dive in, is there anything specific that you had anything to ask about?
No, I think actually when Karen was talking to me, because she really wished she could be here, but the questions that she had were actually about her pension. So I'd like to talk about that a little bit.
Okay, well, perfect. That was the first thing on the docket, so let's go ahead and dive in. So Karen's pension has different payout options, and what that means is different forms in which you could receive the money from her pension.
Okay.
So to simplify it, I'm going to put the options into two buckets. And one bucket, and only one option really falls in here, is what's called the single life payment option, or the single life annuity.
Okay.
This just means that only Karen is going to receive benefit, but the benefit of that is that she receives the maximum possible benefit, which, to be specific, it's a little over $148K a year.
$148,000 a year.
That Karen would receive for life.
Wow.
Yes.
Good job, babe.
Yeah, right? So in the other buckets are the payment options, which include you, Mr. Miller. Mm-hmm. So in the event of Mrs. Miller's unfortunate untimely death, the pension would continue to make payments to you. They would be reduced payments, all right? So it's not going to be the $148K. They're going to be reduced, but you would still receive something. Now,
that sounds like a safe option.
It does, and you know what? In many ways, it acts like insurance coverage. Mm-hmm. However, I'll just go ahead and say that our analysis shows that you guys are overinsured.
Okay.
So since we're talking about Karen's pension, it applies to Karen specifically. Karen has a lot of insurance right now in her life, more than she needs to. Mm-hmm. So, and not that this is the topic of the meeting, but we're going to be recommending that she drop some of her coverage, because even with dropping some of that coverage, she still has enough, right? Mm-hmm. But that being said, you don't need any of the payment options under this bucket.
Okay.
So our recommendation is that you go with the single life payment option, the single annuity, because it will give you guys the maximum annual benefit of a little over $148K.
So basically what you're saying is this is kind of acts like insurance.
Yes.
We already have enough insurance.
You have enough insurance.
Even more than enough.
Yes.
And so because of that, we should just go with the option that pays the most.
Yes, pays the most of Karen. And
okay.
When you also look at it from a health standpoint, you both have excellent health. There's no predisposed conditions, and y'all's family history is excellent. So it's unlikely that you guys would need any more insurance because of that. You guys are good in that department.
Well, you're the professional. I like your recommendation. I think we're going to go with that. That's awesome.
Fantastic. So next order of business is Social Security.
Okay.
Now, I remember during our introductory meeting, you guys had a few questions about it. You weren't really sure how to go about it.
Yeah, it's just kind of confusing. I hear a lot of my older friends talking about it. They just started applying for Social Security, and there's different ways to do it, I guess, and there's a lot of paperwork, and I just don't know.
All right, well, I'm gonna make it pretty simple for you, all right? So you have technically three different options. You can take benefits early, which is 62. Mm-hmm. You can take benefits at full retirement age, which is simply when you're 66.
Okay.
Now, why that's considered full retirement age, I do not know, but that's just the case. And the third option is you can delay taking benefits up until age 70.
Gotcha.
Now, the reason that these options exist is because sometimes people need money earlier. Sometimes, they need it now. Other times, they just they're able to hold off taking benefits.
What's the case for our situation,
So, before I get there, you get a different monthly payment under each of the three options. So if you take benefits early, you'll get reduced benefits. So you'll get less. You'll get more if you pull benefits at your full retirement age, and you'll get even more if you pull benefits at 70 delayed.
But you have to wait until 70 to be able to pull it. So
technically, you don't have to wait until 70. It's just called delayed benefits. If you wait to take benefits at any point beyond 66, which is your full retirement age, it's considered delayed benefits.
And so
you're going to get more.
The amount goes up.
yes, the more you wait, the more you get.
Is it worth it to do that?
So in your specific case, it actually doesn't. I hate to put it so bluntly, but it doesn't really matter. You guys are fortunate enough to where if you were decide to take benefits when you retire at 65, so kind of early, when you are full retirement age, 66, or when you are 70 or delayed benefits, your probability of success is 99% no matter which option you take. If you decide to go early, it brings it down to about a 94 or 96. I'm not too sure, I can check that for you, but it's one of those two numbers. So it almost doesn't make that big of a difference. Our specific recommendation for you is it's kind of a mix. So we're going to recommend that one of you takes benefits at full retirement age, so 66, about a year after you retire, and then when the other person reaches age 70, they start to take benefits.
Okay.
So this is going to give you the second highest payout option, so to say, from Social Security
Gotcha.
out of all the options. And like I said earlier, you guys, it doesn't really affect you that much which way you go, because in the end, it'll still be above a 90%.
But we could get more money if both of us did at 70.
If both of you, if both of you pulled benefit to 70, you would get the maximum possible payout option from Social Security. But the reason we're recommending one of you gets them at full retirement age and the other one at delayed is simply because, life happens, and while we've planned for some of these things, there may be in the future like a new hobby you may pick up, or a new wish, a new goal you want to add to your plan. And we thought that it would be nice for you to have some kind of income that isn't coming from your actual assets, but rather coming from the government version of a retirement plan, which you've been paying into for most of your working life.
Right.
So to reiterate, it's simply to avoid taking benefits from your retirement portfolio.
That sounds good. Yeah. I like that.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
We'll go with your recommendation.
All right. So then the last order of business is Medicare, or health coverage. Now, as you know, you both currently have health coverage under Karen's employer.
Right.
Now, what's going to happen when you guys both turn 65 is you're going to lose your ability to participate in that health group plan that Karen has. And that leaves you uninsured, which we can't have. Despite your excellent health and family history, that's a risk, and it'd be irresponsible for me as an advisor to say you don't need to worry about it. If it's a risk we can address, we ought to address it.
Okay.
So what's going to happen when you turn 65 is you guys are going to become eligible for Medicare, parts A, B, and D. Now, part A is hospital, part B is doctor's visits, and D is prescriptions. Because you guys have been paying into Social Security and Medicare most of your working life, you qualify for a premium-free Part A. So you don't have to worry about paying for Part A. It's there.
Okay.
And you're going to have to pay for Parts B and D, all right?
Right. And
now,
how much is that going to cost?
So the cost is going to vary, but in terms of the exact number, it's in the financial plan which we delivered via email to you guys.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't have that with me, but what I can tell you, though, is that you guys have an HSA, which we're going to be recommending you start to contribute money on top of what the employer is contributing, because you're going to be able to use the funds in this account, which they're tax qualified, so they get treatment. You don't have to pay taxes on them, and you can use the money in this that you save to pay for the premiums. So you can pay for the Part B and D premium, and
with the HSA.
With the HSA, as well as any other qualifying medical expenses.
So we have to save in this HSA.
We're going to recommend you start saving into, otherwise it's not going to work out as much. And also the reason why is tax benefits.
Okay.
So essentially, you could say it's a healthcare Roth IRA in a sense. But anyways, you might be wondering, what about Part C? I went from A, B, and I skipped over C, went to D.
Yeah, there were a lot of different parts, but we didn't talk about C.
So C essentially, so imagine if if you know what a gear looks like, right? Like in a car, it's a circular with little, holes in them or whatever. So imagine parts A, B, and D to be this, critical piece, right? Now there's gaps in there, right? There's a gap here, right?
Right.
So A, B, and D does not cover everything. There's things like copay, when you go to see a doctor, you have to pay, your portion for the doctor's visit.
Right.
It doesn't cover that. That has to come out of your own pocket.
It doesn't cover everything.
It is weird, but the way that I guess most people understand it is it's government run. So,
right.
government isn't fully efficient, so it's one of those unfortunate things where there's gaps in the coverage. So
Gotcha.
not everything will be covered. And like I said earlier, you guys have excellent health and all that, but accidents do happen, and if some accident were to happen that left you incapacitated, or you had some out of nowhere 1 in a million chance of getting a disease, AD&D by itself wouldn't cover it all.
God forbid, but yeah. I understand.
So what Part C does essentially is it fills in all these goals and it makes a perfect circle. So where AD&D by itself had these gaps in it, C fills in all those gaps and gives you full coverage essentially. So we're going to recommend that you guys, on top of getting AD&D, get Part C. And Part C, you could look at it as private insurance
Okay.
for retirement, and it'll cover all of the things that AD&D will not cover.
That sounds great.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we do need that now that you've explained it to me. I never knew what it was. I've heard my older friends talk about it a little bit, but that sounds awesome.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you think that, man. It's good you guys can afford to do it. It'll benefit you guys. So.
Well, I feel a lot better about this portion of my plan now that you've explained it to me. Thanks for doing that for me.
Glad you think so, Mr. Miller. Are there any other questions about any of this, or?
Nope, I think you got it handled for us. Really, I'm really thankful for you.
All right, sounds good. So, one more thing before we quickly end this meeting. So there's going to be certain things you have to do. So you have to enroll in all these. We're going to be here to assist you during the enrollment and implementation of all of these things that we talked about.
That would be nice.
Yeah. So when the time comes, we will be there. We'll be ready. We'll reach out to you guys, or you can reach out to us. But we're gonna try and get this done as early as possible for you guys. All right.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Sure
I
thing.
really appreciate it.
All right. You have a good day, Mr. Miller. Hope your wife gets better.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you.